A lot of people are not going to like me for this, but treat love like a financial investment. Take a little bit of time to contemplate all the bad things that will happen to your life if it goes wrong. I mean, we all know how much it sucks to get our heart broken, especially after investing so much time, energy, and resources. Often, this is a problem of being in a biological state that prevents us from thinking critically and rationally, and therefore makes it very hard for us to see the true nature of a person and understand what their intentions with us actually are. Which is why I felt a need to find a solution to this problem, and that's what I'm going to present to you in this video. I'm going to give you a very simple system that is specifically designed to protect you from being a victim of your infatuated bias and to maximize the probabilities of you finding the best possible person out there. You see, there's enough research out there that shows how having an infatuated bias prevents one from seeing the red flags and flaws of a person. I mean, that comes to no surprise. Neurochemically, the nascent stages of attraction are very similar to addiction. We're literally high on positive emotion. But you see, this is not the only realm of life where emotional biases lead to poor decision making and eventually obliteration. It's also prevalent in finance, where the system that I'm going to show you in just a couple of seconds originates from. It is a modification of a quantitative investing system. Of course, for the purpose of this video, it's simplified, but to understand why it will work so well in dating and protecting yourself from being destroyed by somebody emotionally, you have to understand why it's so successful in finance. You see, financial markets are designed to work against human emotion. Like, everybody who invests with emotion is guaranteed to lose money and get absolutely destroyed financially. So having a system in place that allows you to not rely on your emotional bias, but on the probabilities that you can stir in your favor is crucial to making money and actually, being successful in this realm of life. Which leads you to how this system is going to benefit you in the context of dating or finding the love of your life. So the first thing is, it's going to separate your infatuated bias from decision making. The second thing is, it's going to make you more aware of the validity of your own standards. So if you have too high standards, if you even have standards at all. And the third thing is, it's going to protect you from a bad investment. And if now somebody's saying, why are you treating love like an investment? Just stick with me here. I would argue that your partner is the most important investment you could ever make. This is going to be the person who you spend the most of your time with, who plays a huge role in shaping your emotional reality, and who you're gonna have a family with. So yeah, if I had to approach anything from a systematic angle, it would be this. Your partner will either make you or break you, and I think there are plenty of public examples that show this, which is why let's talk about the system now. So as you can see here, we have a spreadsheet. You can either copy it, I have a link in the description, or you can create the table yourself if you know how to use Google Sheets or Excel. Feel free to do so. You can also, of course, use an AI to help you create this. Anyway, so you see here you have 3 columns. The first one being the metric, how you score it, and then the final score. As you can see, you have a drop-down menu here where you can decide between scores 1, 0, and -1. Let's take one metric like, this person likes to do self-improvement. So, does self-improvement. How would you score this? Well, if you value self-improvement, you would probably say, if they do it consistently, you would score it with a 1. And if they do not do it consistently, if they don't even care, you would probably score it with a -1, which I will put in here. And everything between consistently and don't care, so between 1 and -1, excuse me, I just forgot that to add the minus in front of there, you would score of 0. So let's say they kind of watch self-improvement videos like once or twice a month, then you would score that as a 0. So you then put the score here. Let's say this person does self-improvement consistently, they train, they exercise, they read books, and so on. 1. And now you see how on the right side of this table, some more metrics appear. This is the total score. This will be the average out of all the scores that you had from the metrics. Below the total score, you also have a nice visual just to make things more obvious. And you have the most important question, will I be fucked over? And based on the score that you have here, you will either have the result unlikely, likely, and yes. It's of course color coded, so if it's under 0.5, in this case, it's gonna be red. If it's between 0.5 and 0.8, it's gonna be orange. You're gonna see all of that in just a couple of minutes. When it comes to the criteria for the system, so all these different metrics, get creative, man. Like, it can be appearance, career, hobby, or habit-based criteria. Just make sure that it actually is something that you value, because you want to be, if there's one thing you want to do with this system, it is to be honest to yourself. Because if you're lying to yourself in this system, the system is going to yield you negative results. It's like when you go to your therapist and don't share the full story with them. Of course, their answer will be biased and perhaps more counterproductive than productive. But I digress. We're now going to go through a quick demonstration with 11 criteria. I made a copy of this spreadsheet, as you can see here, where some criteria are already filled out. As you can see, the conditions are also already written out, and we're now just gonna go through some of the scoring. The scoring, by the way, is not going to be a representation of my preferences. This is just for demonstration purposes only. So as you can see here, the first metric is the person does self-improvement. If they do it consistently, we score it with 1. If they do not care, we score it with -1. Let's say this person does self-improvement consistently, so we give them a 1. Next thing, social media consumption. If the person barely uses it, a 1. If they're addicted, to -1. Let's say the person is not addicted to it, but they also are not in that state where they barely use it. They kind of use it for an hour a day. Score it with a 0. Next criteria, this person talks behind people's backs. If they never, we'll then score with a 1. If they do it regularly, then with a -1. Let's say this person never talks behind people's backs. They're very loyal, so give them a 1. I'm now going to speed up the process. You can pause the video, see all the criteria and how I score it, but I think you already get how the whole thing is working. So as you see, we filled out all the metrics. What is the score? 0.64. Will I be fucked over? Likely. This is of course just an example. Some of the metrics or criteria that you have will be weighted more than the others. For example, if this person cheats in a relationship, I would weigh this metric much higher than, for example, a metric like high snap score. It just makes so much sense. So you can totally customize this in the way how you want. You could technically just write cheats in a relationship 2 times to count it as 2. If you want to keep things simple. I mean, this table is very long. You can also extend it if you want, right? You can just take this whole table and drag it down like this. You see? And you have those additional metrics. This is also the point where you're going to realize, if you've not realized it already, that if you lie to yourself here, the result you end up getting will just be shit. It will not help you. So be honest to the system, because only then will the system be honest to you. Why is this system so powerful? Well, it's very likely that all the red flags, even though I don't like to use the term red flag because it just reminds me of some kind of cliche TikTok video. Let's just say all the bad signals of a person that your system detects here that you do not detect with your infatuated bias, you will realize a couple months down the line when those love blindfolds get taken off anyway. Let's take an example. This person lies to people, as you see here. The person lies to people and you scored it with -1 because they do it regularly. But in the moment where you're dating each other, they don't lie to you, or at least you don't think that they do, because it's very hard for you to see the bad in a person because that's just how your current brain state is. And then after a couple of months, you hear how they start lying about you to their friends. And by the time you break up, it's like you start to realize, oh shit, they were really a liar, like from the beginning. And you see how your system already told you here, will I be fucked over? Yes, it already told you this. So all of the pain, all of those unpleasant conversations, all of those stories where people tell you how your partner spread all these rumors about you, you wouldn't have to go through them because you had a system that told you to abandon the ship early. We could go through so many more examples, but I think you should try this out yourself. You can perhaps even try this out with your past partners where, things didn't go that well, to see if you had the system in place back then, you would have protected yourself from so much pain. Of course, now there are also some people saying, but I want to go through the heartbreak so I can learn about my weaknesses. I mean, there is that saying that your partner really shows to you where your flaws are. So you can let me know what you prefer. If you prefer going through the painful experience or protecting yourself from it. I think that if you've gone through enough painful experiences, you come to a point where you say, okay, now it's just time to protect myself, because going through more painful experiences would really not tell me more about myself than I already know. So just let me know. I'd be interested to hear your opinion on that. And to all the people who are now saying, well, this system is going to make you too meticulous. It's going to protect you from socializing with other people in the first place. It's going to prevent you from giving other people a chance. No. The goal of this system is not to protect you from other people, but to protect you from being a victim of your emotional bias, which is clearly flawed when you are in the state of infatuation. See it as nothing more but a simple tool as an indicator to make more perspicacious judgments, not as a replacement for those judgments, because the final word will always be you. Anyway, so I think by now you understand the overall concept of the system, the purpose that it serves. I personally think that it's so amazing how we can use principles from financial investing and apply that to other realms of life. It just shows how similar everything actually is, and yeah, that's sometimes the magic of applying something from one sector to another. I hope that the system will be able to help you, that that it will actually change your life for the better and improve your decision making the same way how it has improved my decision making. This was definitely a more experimental kind of video. You can let me know what you think of these kind of funky, interesting, oddly specific concepts. Be happy to hear your opinion. And the only thing I can say is see you in the next one.